Time. It's something that we all have a lot of at the moment with, you know, the whole self-isolation and working from home thing. So I thought it'd be time to work on my schedule to be more productive. For the past 7 or so years, I've been very fortunate to be able to work from home and more importantly, work for myself. But that does come with a lot of up and downs. You know, you're setting your own hours in your schedule, and hey, there's days where you just want to kind of sit around and do nothing. So here's an overview of a regular day for me and the things that I'm trying to implement and change to get me out of the bad habits that I have formed over the years. My mornings start around 7:30 to 8 a.m. Thankfully, my wife has like a regular kind of day job, so my schedule kind of mimics hers in terms of, you know, going to sleep around, 11 o'clock at night and then waking up around 7:38. Before we got together, I was actually staying up till, 3 a.m. most nights and then waking up at 11, maybe at the earliest. Those were definitely grim times. So the first thing I've been reading about is a lot of people get ready in the morning as if they are going to a regular job. It kind of tricks your mind to get you into work mode, and this isn't anything new for me. Luckily for the last few years, I got out of that bad habit of wearing trackies and PJs all day. So this is nothing new to me. Obviously, I can't show you getting ready, but here is a few generic clips from The Simpsons to kind of mimic what my morning routine is actually like.
I'm whizzing with the door open, and I love it. Why, oh, why, Delilah.
One thing I did see is that certain people put their shoes on actually, and it kind of tricks your brain into thinking that you are leaving your house to go to a meeting or actually, go to work. And I've tried it and actually kind of works. To my wife, if you're watching this, I'm sorry if I leave dirty foot marks all throughout the carpet. I promise I'll vacuum them up in my break. Then it's breakfast time. Now, I generally have a coffee around 8:30 in the morning, and then I'll have breakfast later, maybe like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. But I'm gonna be trying to consolidate these two activities to make my time more productive. And yeah, it actually worked. So I kind of consolidated both things. I did them both at the same time, and it kind of made my brain less distracted, whereas, my normal routine would be like, oh, okay, cool, I'm having my coffee, but I know very soon I'm gonna have to stop what I'm doing to go have breakfast, and it's kind of disruptive. Now, I've written my days out in blocks. I have heard that this is something that countless people have been doing, and it's actually something that I have been doing for the last few years. I generally just write down my tasks either in a notepad or my MacBook, but the problem is with doing this is that there is no kind of track of the activities that I'm doing for the day. So I think it's time that I try and give myself, certain time goals to achieve the things that I've written out for the day and, prioritizing them more. So it's like, okay, this is the most urgent thing that we need to get done for the day and so on and so forth. So here is my trusty notepad. I've actually kind of written out like the things that I had to do for the day in 2-hour blocks. And I said to myself that, every 30 minutes I'd give myself a break. Now, at first it was great doing this. I would take like a few minutes to, go do the dishes or do something else away from my workstation to give my brain a bit of a refresh. But I found doing it at 30 minutes was a bit too distracting. I didn't feel like I was getting enough done, or I was just getting to the thick of things and I had to bounce. So I changed this to an hour with like, a 5 to 10 minute break every hour, and that worked out to be way better. So the first task of the day from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I gave myself 2 hours to work on an edit for a golfing production house that I've been working with. Now, there is a lot of footage to go through with this project. There is a lot of work, so that was number one priority in my books. And it was great. I felt like I got a lot done in that 2 hours, but towards the end, I was getting a few like technical difficulties that I have never kind of experienced before with the footage I was working with. So I spent some time doing research and, calling friends and, contacting other editors to try and resolve this, but I was getting really frustrated. I thought to myself, you know what? It's 11 a.m. Let's just stop and just move on to the next task. Otherwise, I am just going to get really annoyed and not going to be able to get anything else done for the rest of the day. So that brings us to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. where I had a motorbike edit to do, or I've written here bike edit, and it's for a campaign for a company that I've been working with. A lot of the work has been done. It was more so like forming the edit, and yeah, again, that was very productive. I feel like I got a a lot done in a very short amount of time, surprisingly. Now, I wrote down an hour break for lunch from 1 p.m. till 2 p.m., but I kind of found this a bit too long. You know, I decided to give myself an hour to be like, all right, cool, you can chill now, you can watch YouTube, catch up on like other stuff that you want to be doing. But I just found an hour just too long in general, and especially with the other breaks I'm having during the day, so I'm just going to cut that down to like a half hour, 45-minute break. Now, I wrote from 2:30 to 4:30 to work on the pilot edit. We are kind of nearing the end of, picture lock to be able to send it off for sound design and visual effects completely. But there was a few notes that I kind of had to work through, but 2 hours was a bit too long for this. I just kind of gave me that time just in case I wanted to change other things, but it really didn't take that long at all, which was great because I actually was a bit late coming back from my doctor's appointment because they were running behind, obviously, as always. But yeah, I managed to get that done, and yeah, it felt great. And obviously the last task of the day was to film this bit of the YouTube video. All around, I felt like I did a really good job at keeping with the schedule. Obviously I'm not perfect, things kind of were a bit over here or there, but overall I felt like I kind of kept to those 2-hour blocks very well. And this is definitely something I'm going to be implementing for, probably the rest of my career, trying to schedule my days in 2-hour blocks. As a freelancer, you would know that, no 2 days are the same. I might be on set for a full day, or I might be running around doing meetings, blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to keep it at these 2-hour block sections, like sessions, I guess you could call them. Yeah, pretty good word for that. But on the days where I don't have anything on, obviously trying to keep it at 2-hour blocks, but doing other stuff, whether it be, working on my website, or learning a new task, or learning a new skill, or, doing my taxes, or something very adult-like. And the final thing I'm working on to be more productive is to figure out what to do with my phone. This is by far the absolute worst enemy when it comes to productivity. I've found it so easy in the past just to get a notification and just look at my phone, pick it up, be like, oh, I'm just checking a message, or I'm just checking what's happening on Instagram. And next thing you know, I've just been mindlessly scrolling for at least an hour, completely wasting my time and chewing into all the other work that I have to do. I've really got to break this habit, and what I've been implementing is actually leaving my phone in a completely different room away from arm's length, just make it a pain to get to my phone, just so I can work on these 2-hour block sessions that I've written out for my work. Now, obviously, when I have a break, I can get up, I can check it, whatever. And if need be, if there is an emergency, I have notifications on my MacBook, which I know is a bit distracting, but I can see the messages and calls coming through in case I've got to go pick it up, in case it's like a client or a family emergency, whatever it might be. Oh man, okay, that was a lot to get through. So far, I feel like this has been working really well, and I'm hoping I can keep this up to utilize my time and be more productive as a filmmaker, creative, and just a person in general. If you're a freelancer or someone that also works from home and you have any other productivity tips that you want to share, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it and see if I can implement it into my schedule. This schedule that I've kind of made for myself, I've just grabbed bits and pieces from other people I follow online, and maybe you could even just share your schedule just in general, just so other creatives can get an idea if they feel like, they're in a slump and they want to change things up in terms of their productivity. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!